This is the IP for VLAN 10, VLAN 20. Then you can see that the DHCP is working. The DHCP is working comfortably. So once it's working, you see it has received IP. At this stage, I can ping the internet. Still at the same time, I can ping the VLAN 10, that is 172.30.20.70. You see, I can ping the internet. This is through the power of these rules on the Firewall FortiGate. So in this lab, ensure you have Cisco Layer 3 switch, FortiGate Firewall version 7.09. I will attach it to the link for you to achieve these particular tests. You see the static routes that I created here. This is it. So the topology can now communicate. I have tested and shown you. This is what we expect at the end of this particular video. Welcome to Netlabs Hub. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure Inter-VLAN routing on Cisco Layer 3 switch together with the FortiGate firewall. So the FortiGate firewall is going to handle the routing, then the switch is going to handle the VLAN and multi-VLAN communication. So this is a scenario that is established to ensure that routing and switching is separated. So the part of switching will be done by the Layer 3 switch, then routing will be done by the firewall. Also, the firewall will act as the DHCP server to automatically issue IP addresses to respective clients from the VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. After there, VLAN 10 should access the internet. Same applies to VLAN 20. So the steps for this topology or for this project is that I'm going to create VLANs on the switch, then assign switch ports, then configure the trunk. Then on that, I'll allow all the VLANs, VLAN 10 and 20, to pass the traffic through the trunk port, that is Ethernet 0/0. And the port facing the firewall is what we call the trunk port. The function of the trunk port is to pass multiple traffic from VLAN, or to carry tagged VLAN traffic. So I'll access the switch Ethernet 0/1. It is on VLAN 10. So VLAN 10 name sales VLAN 20 name finance. So after there, I assign switch ports. You can exit or just continue, there is no big deal. Interface Ethernet 0/1 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10. Then int Ethernet 1 switch port access VLAN 20. So I'm done configuring the VLANs. Let me show you the VLANs. Show VLANs. You can see VLAN 10, then VLAN 20. You see their names is here. Their names are here. VLAN 10 sales, then VLAN 20 finance. And these are the ports on those respective VLANs. So the next thing, I'm going to configure the trunk port. The trunk port is interface Ethernet 0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation. Because this switch, it is in auto negotiation mode, whereby we have inter-switch link, then 802.1q. So you have to choose which protocol you are going to use. So I'm going to use that one, switch port trunk allowed. Now I'm allowing the VLAN 10 and 20. Description: trunk port for sales and finance department. So once we are done, we save our configuration. So we just save. So at this stage, I have created the VLANs, assigned switch ports to the VLAN, and configured the trunk port. So I'm done with configuring the switching part. Now moving on the firewall. On the firewall, the first thing, I'll create the administrator account, then configure the management interface, configure the sub-virtual interface for respective VLANs, then configure the routes and the firewall policies. So I will access the firewall. Show diagonalize IP admin. So stage 1 is to create the administrator account, then configure global, set host name, LTK firewall. So once done that, we configure the system interface. The port facing the internet is going to get IP address automatically. So we give it the DHCP mode. So once we are done, we move to the port facing the VLANs, that is port 2, set row LAN, set allow access ping HTTP. So after that stage, we move to the management interface, edit port 3, set mode DHCP. Port 3 is going to get IP address automatically from this server here. This is the GNS3 server. So at that stage, set allow FG HTTP telnet ping SSH. So set alias MGT, then end. So I have set the management interface. Just to confirm, diagonalize IP address list. You can see that we are going to use this IP address for the management, then this one is for the internet service provider. So I'll access it via the firewall. I will access it in the browser. You see it has detected that IP, so I'll just log in. Not save, then proceed. This I'm doing the evaluation license. I'm evaluating the license. So the first thing is to go to the interfaces. Then you can see this is the LAN interface. Internet. You can see this is the gateway that automatically acquired, but still you can change the DNS, no big deal. Then that is it. So I'll create sub-virtual interfaces for the VLANs, and let me show you something. On the VLANs, this is the subnet for this VLAN, then this is the subnet for this VLAN. So on every sub-virtual interface, I'm going to configure to enable DHCP on that. So from this particular specific network. So VLAN 10 172.30.20.0, then VLAN 20 is 172.30.21.0. So I will create, this is VLAN 10, sales, VLAN 10, then you give it ID, that is 10. It is using 802.1q. This is the one that will help us in the VLAN tagging. Then the role of that is the LAN port. After there, we assign the first IP address of that VLAN on this interface. Then we enable the ping capability. We enable the DHCP server so that this interface will serve as DHCP server for the internal VLANs. I can specify the DNS. So I'll give the DNS for Google. So here you choose the port 2. Port 2 is the interface. You bound that sub-virtual interface to the main interface. Once you are done that, you see that port 2, it has now a plus sign is there, meaning it has created a replica interface. So you'll repeat the same for VLAN. For VLAN 20, this is finance, VLAN 20. Then you bound it to the main interface. Then VLAN ID. Give it VLAN ID. The next step, you assign the IP address. You specify the DNS server. So I have finished configuring the sub-virtual interfaces for the VLANs on the main interface, sorry. So the next thing is to create the static route. The first static route is to direct all the traffic from any source to the internet. So I'll just pick this, then my route is dynamic. This one, it means any host on the internet, then it will pass through the dynamic interface here. The next thing now, I'm going to create the static routes to allow traffic from VLAN 10 to go to VLAN 20, then from VLAN 20 to VLAN 10. That's the first two rules. Then the second rule, I will allow specific VLAN to the internet. Let me show you how to do that. Slowly by slowly until you get it. You go to policies. Let me now, on the dashboard, you go to the policies and policy and objects. So here you leave alone the implicit firewall policy. You create, this is VLAN 10, VLAN 10 to VLAN 20. Then, so the incoming interface, it will be VLAN 10. Then outgoing, it will be VLAN 20. The source, it will be everything. There is no big deal on that. NAT is enabled always. So I have just copied the rule, then we edit that rule. So this is VLAN 20 to VLAN 10. So the incoming, it will be VLAN 20. Then outgoing, it will be VLAN 10. then everything remains the way it is. So these two firewall policies will allow traffic to go through. So the moment you copy a rule, it will be disabled by default. So you have to enable that particular rule for it to work. So this is 10 to 20, then this is 20 to 10. So the next thing, I'll now test my clients whether they can get IP address automatically from the server or not. IP DHCP. Let me use the DORA process. So you see on this particular section, it has received IP address automatically. That is 172.30.20.1. So successfully, the firewall and the switching is working fine. So on this rule, you can find that this computer here, after getting the IP address as designed, it has the ability to ping the gateway, that is 30.20.1, comfortably. You see, it's sending the ISM packets, that is Internet Control Management Protocol, but it cannot ping the internet. Reason being, I haven't configured the static route, the firewall policy to allow the VLAN 10 to access the internet. You see, I'm not getting the ping replies. So on this sector here, on this section, it will also get IP address automatically. So in summary, this is how it is working. Remember, DHCP to be accessed, first of all, the client sends broadcast packets. Remember, the firewall does not understand the broadcast packet. So I have told the firewall or instructed the firewall through the sub-virtual interfaces that were created on this particular main port that any particular broadcast packet that comes, link it to specific sub-virtual interface. That's why it's working. 2, the trunk port here has allowed the two VLANs, the broadcast packets or frames from any of the VLANs to pass through. That's why I'm able to get IP address automatically on any of the subnet VLANs here. So the next thing is just to create a rule to allow traffic from VLAN 10 to the internet. So this one, VLAN 10 to internet. So incoming, it will be VLAN 10, then outgoing, it will be port 1, that is internet, then the source. The source, you can choose VLAN 10, you can choose that subnet, then destination is everything. So it means the source is the address group for VLAN 10, then the service is all. So once you do that, you just okay. You copy this rule. Then paste below and edit it for VLAN 20. So this one, it will be VLAN 20 to the internet. So the incoming, it will be VLAN 20, then outgoing, it will remain that way. On this, you will change to the finance address group, then everything remains the same. You enable this particular policy, then it's okay. So at this point now, I'm able, a computer from VLAN 10 can access the internet, then a computer from VLAN 20 can also access the internet and has that ability to ping each other. For example, here, first of all, let me confirm the IP address that was received. This is computer in VLAN 10. That is, it should get 172.30.20.70 as instructed. Then the other one should get 100. So when I ping 172.30.21.100, you see, I'm able to reach. So VLAN 10 can comfortably communicate with the VLAN 20. Now let me ping the internet, ping the DNS. We just give it time to synchronize. Just give it time to synchronize. So inter-VLAN routing is working. Now I have separated switching and routing. So routing is being handled by the firewall, then switching is being handled by the layer 3 switch. Though at some point this layer 3 switch can handle everything. In that I can shut down this interface, then I bring part of the routing still to this particular switch, so that without the firewall here, still traffic will work. So that will be almost the last section of that. So this scenario, I'm just showing you how you can separate routing and switching so that you cannot overwhelm one device or the other, especially when you are limited on the resources maybe on your enterprise network. So in this scenario here, the next thing I gonna do, I can just shut down this interface, then configure bring up the VLAN interfaces, respectively assign the IP address that was done here, that I assigned on the sub-virtual interface, then configure the DHCP pools for it to work. So what I will do, I will just copy this one. So that is it. Let me verify something here. Change here something here. So on the internet, VLAN 10 to the internet, can just say on this, I'm going to allow outgoing interface, incoming interface is that one, then the source is everything. Let me just edit this. Outgoing is this one, then incoming is this one. So this is how you can configure inter-VLAN routing on layer 3 switch, then separate the routing and switching using the FortiGate firewall. Because the firewall has the better capability than the switch, it handles the routing. Execute, reboot. So thank you so much for following throughout this particular lab. Indeed, it has been a very wonderful lab. Feel free to subscribe to Netlabs Hub for more videos.